learn the top 8 mistakes tourists make when visiting Norway. Avoid these for a smoother, more enjoyable trip. Get ready for a better travel experience in Norway. The list was compiled from our own mistakes, observation from other tourists and a thorough research on online forums and groups. Number 1. Underestimating the distances. The first mistake many tourists make is to underestimate the distances in Norway. Norway is a big country, so it takes a long time to drive around. To make matters worse, the average speed is slow compared to other European countries. If you stay on the main roads, you can drive often 80 km per hour. A lot of new roads have been built the last decade, so it goes much faster. But if you're on small roads, count with an average of 50 km per hour. But then comes the next snag. The roads are rarely straight. So even if Google Maps says it's the straight distance 30 km, it can mean driving 100 km and taking a ferry in between, which takes 2 hours or more depending on the waiting time. And then there are the roads that are closed in winter. But that leads to the next mistake. Number 2. Coming at the wrong season. Many tourists assume they can come at any time of the year and do all the things they have seen on Instagram. They are completely wrong about this. Visiting Norway is extremely seasonal. The first is winter, which means a lot of snow in most parts of the country. Secondly, many tourist sites and businesses are closed for a good part of the year. Many of the most famous hikes, such as Trolltunga and Bessingen, have a very short windows of time when they are easily accessible to most people. This is usually between July, when the snow has finally melted, and the end of September, when the snow starts to fall again. Some other destinations have even shorter windows, such as Austdalsbreen, where in some years the snow does not disappear until mid-August. See our video about it. And then there are some months that are simply not worth coming, such as November. Don't bother coming in November, it's just money down the drain. And autumn and winter can be prone to storms. In case of bad luck, there will be one following the other, leading to all activities you had planned being cancelled. Or you even get stuck. Roads can be closed, ferry services are interrupted, or if things really get bad, planes cease to fly. Another seasonal phenomenon is the Aurora Borealis, or more commonly, the Northern Light. They are here all year round, but you can't see them when it's too bright. So between April and September it's not dark enough to see them in the north. In the south they don't happen enough often to be reliable. Which brings us to the next mistake. Number 3. Asking about the weather. A common thing people assume is that there is a certain nice weather period with guaranteed sunny weather and no rain. While such a thing is common for countries much further south, it's absolutely not the case in Norway. In Norway you can have long periods of nice weather or rain or snow in any months. Some year it's nice, the next one it's totally different. In addition, the weather can be extremely localized, meaning it can rain extremely strong in one place while a couple of kilometers further the sun shines. Asking about the weather in Norway long in advance is like asking the next lottery numbers. On the bright side, talking about the weather and comparing the weather is great for small talk in Norway. This issue leads to a couple of other mistakes like the next one. Number 4. Not enough time. People want to see everything in a very short time. A typical post would be,
I want to see Preikestolen, Bergen, Flom, Geirangerfjord, Lofoten, Tromsø and the North Cape. And I have 7 days.
7 things, 7 days, that should work? No, it doesn't. Because it takes 10 days to get to all the destinations. So it's more like 3 weeks instead of 1. The best thing is to pick one area and visit the sites there. You will get more out of it because you won't be in a car or public transport all the time. One example is the Ryfylke and Hardanger regions, which are covered by our partner Discovery Route. This leads to the next mistake. Number 5. Planning too much. Now you have researched everything, calculated all the travel time and booked everything. On the first day everything goes well, but on the second day the weather is so bad that you cannot do a hike or an activity. Or there is an accident on the road and you are stuck for hours without possibility for a detour. Since everything is planned and booked, you cannot just do it the next day. That's why it's important to have some flexibility in this kind of event, especially for the most important activities you want to do. I usually do this by staying in the same place for several days so I can move things around if necessary. And that leads to the other extreme and the next mistake. Number 6. No plan at all. These are common mistakes made by motorhome tourists.
We go where it's nice.
Or,
We'll follow the good weather.
if you do this, you will miss beautiful opportunities along the way, because you don't know they exist. Entering these places are usually marked with a brown sign with a cross, but there are many, so how do you choose? The best way is to find out before you go, for example by watching more videos on this channel. Which brings us to the next mistake. Number 7. Going where everybody else goes. Most people want to go where everybody else is going. This leads to overcrowded places, while just a few kilometers away you can be completely alone. One example is Preikestolen, Norway's most popular nature attraction. But even in the surrounding area you can find hikes that are even more beautiful and amazing. We try to show you this place on this channel and we would love to show you more, but nobody watches this video. If you want to see more unknown gems, then after watching this video, go to our video list and watch a video of a place you never heard of. And before we get to the last mistakes people do when visiting Norway, here's some honorable mentions. Assuming there is choice. Compared to other countries, the choice of product and service is somewhat limited. So asking what is the best company for a certain service in a certain place can be somewhat redundant, if there is only one. One-way car rental. This will usually cost a lot more. Underestimating hikes. When a Norwegian says it's an easy Sunday afternoon hike, that could already be expedition level for an American. Wondering that shops are closed on Sundays. Unless you are visiting a place which has been classified as a tourist area, shops will be closed on Sunday and other holidays like Christmas. And the big cities are not tourist areas. Buying bottled flat water at a restaurant. Tap water is always given out for free at restaurants in Norway, so ordering bottled flat water is a waste of money. And here our last mistake, number 8, wasting money. Because Norway isn't the cheapest country in the world, some tourists just turn off their brain and pay whatever they are asked. Even if you are not on a tight budget, it's worth comparing different offers. In case there is only one company offering your requested activity, it is worth checking how much a similar activity would cost elsewhere, just to avoid being ripped off. An example we encountered ourselves not long ago is boat trips to famous sites. Just ask yourself, what is the most important to me? The fancy boat or the nature I want to see? The company with a fancy new boat will cost you a lot more than the company with a 50-year-old boat. But rest assured, the safety regulations are the same for both, so cheap doesn't mean unsafe. Do this a few times and you will be able to afford one more activity at the end of your trip. But there is one exception to this rule, that's when your life depends on it. Don't be cheap here, pay the price or don't do it. An example is glacier hiking. Going alone can be a death sentence. Did I miss any mistakes tourists make when visiting Norway? If so, then write it in the comment. If this video was useful to you, then watch one of our other travel advice ones, like the one about ferries in Norway.